Hello, for my midterm book talk in children's literature, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite books, A Wrinkle in Time, and also the other books in the series that a lot of people haven't even heard of because only this one was actually made into a movie. So this book is actually for the age or the grade level of 4th grade to 8th grade. So the middle school ages, but I actually read this in college and I really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in young adult literature, like this one is really awesome. The core theme in this one and the other books is the power of love. I would definitely say is the core theme. There are also a lot of other themes that I won't touch on that you can read about if you read further, but that is definitely the one that I do want to talk about today. So the first book is A Wrinkle in Time, the one that I have here. I don't have the other two, but the second one is called A Wind in the Door, and the third one is called A Swiftly Tilting Planet. So one of my favorite quotes from Madeleine L'Engle is, "Some things have to be believed to be seen." And I think that is the perfect description of all three of the following books in the series that I'm going to talk about. So the first one, A Wrinkle in Time, this book is amazing. You can see that I've like tabbed so many things in here and like highlighted. I couldn't put it down. It's amazing. And I just want to tell you a little bit about it. The main characters are the children, Meg, Charles Wallace, and Calvin. There's also a mother and father of Meg and Charles Wallace that are pretty big. But Meg is the older sister to Charles, and Calvin is the schoolmate to Meg, who are close friends, and potentially love is in the air here. Stay tuned. But the three children go on a journey to find Meg and Charles' missing father, and they go with the three witches, and their names are Miss Who, Miss Whatsit, and Miss Witch. They call them the 3 W's. Literally the most creative names. I love the creativity in this book. It is so unique. But the kids travel to many worlds in search of Mr. Murray, which is the father, and they do that by tessering. And if you don't know what tessering means, it means time traveling. And that's like the hugest thing in this book is time traveling, that they tesser. But they end up in some very sticky situations and actually face evil itself, and they call this evil creature It, just capital IT, It. And I'll leave you wondering exactly what it is and whether or not they rescue Mr. Murray, a mystery, so that you can go read this awesome book and find out for yourself. So now I'll lead into book 2, A Wind in the Door. A lot of people, like I said, haven't read this one because they only think there's one because there's only one movie, but you should definitely read it. It has the same characters. My favorite quote from the book is, "If someone knows who he is, really knows, then he doesn't need to hate." This book contains the same characters, but it is more focused on Charles Wallace since he won the hearts of many of the readers in the first books. Trust me, he's just a sweetheart. He's just like the little boy, and he's so cute, and he's just like great. You're gonna love him. But Meg is worried about him, and he's starting to be like bullied in school, but he's also diagnosed with like a really worrisome disease. But like, don't let this like really realistic human situations kind of fool you though, because this one is just as like mystical as the first one. I don't think I mentioned it, but like in the first one, they like when they time traveled, they like jumped planets and they like went to different planets. So they do some really cool stuff in this one too. Hint, hint, dragons are in their backyard in this one, so there's some pretty cool things still. But the task overall is to save Charles Wallace. So there's going to be like another love element in there, and they use love to do that. But I'll leave that part of the book a complete mystery so that you can read it. Okay, book 3, A Swiftly Tilting Planet. Picture this. I just want to describe this to you because it's absolutely perfect. The characters you've been following along with in the other 2 books, you're already attached to them. You've been following along, and they're no longer kids anymore. You started as kids, and now they're adults. Calvin and Meg, they're married by now, and it's just like perfect. They're a family and they're growing up, and you followed along with them through this journey. But in the book, it starts out, it's Thanksgiving and all is good in the world until there's a threat of a nuclear war. And who else to save the world than Meg, Calvin, and Charles Wallace again? This book brings us back to tessering and time traveling to save the world. Seriously, so cool. The journey to fix this problem is just as exciting as the last time they went planet hopping, and you're gonna absolutely love it. So, to conclude and tie all the books together, all three of the books touched on the one very essential theme, love, like I mentioned. As they all had their own problems and solutions, it really always came down to what people do for those they love and the true power love can have in winning battles over evil. All in all, these books are must read because they are not only jam-packed with interesting, fun, and adventure stories, but they also teach a lot of valuable life lessons you won't forget. So I hope to hear that a lot of you have read this book or are planning on reading it after hearing this book talk.